But I like just like to welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to present the whole team in a second. But we're really, really excited to present version 10, to be here with you guys. So thank you for taking the time today to be here with us. So I will start ahead and like a team present the team marks if you want to go to the next one. That way, while everyone gets in, we can kind of say hi. So to start, I'm Isabella. I work with marketing here at TagProviders. And today I have Mark Tagliani, who's our founder and CTO. Harry McCallum, he's our president. And of course, Dave Hallier, I think a lot of you know him, he's our VP of Business Development. We are going to be presenting you guys. Mark's going to be doing most of the presentation, but we're here to celebrate together. And this is kind of like a big one. This is a year of milestones, is how we've been saying inside the company. We are celebrating today the version 10 launch, which is something we've worked with kind of secretly for a couple of years now, to really bring you guys a lot of new things. But we're also celebrating 15 years of TagProviders in general. And most of us, not me, but a lot of us are celebrating 30 years in the industrial automation world. So it's a big one for us. And it feels like everything kind of worked together to bring version 10 to you guys on this particular day. So as people come in, I'm going to let that, but I'm actually going to move it to Harry. If you want to tell us a little bit about the company, give it an overview before everyone else starts.
Oh, yeah. Okay, great. Thanks, Isabella. Welcome. And I'm probably on the 30-year plus in the industry guy. But anyway, I'm here. I'm going to give you a little bit of a brief overview of our company, talk a little bit about our history, customers, but it'll be brief. We make powerful open industrial software for SCADA, HMI, data management, and the industrial Internet of Things, to name a few. Certainly, we're applied in many different areas in the industrial software space. FrameworX version 10 is our exciting new release, and it's our next generation scalable platform for creating real-time solutions. We were founded about 15 years ago. Our first release was probably 5 years after that. We are an agile, independent software company. Independent in that we're not affiliated with any bigger hardware company. And agile is really, we are very responsive to our customers' needs and are always kind of looking at adding valuable functionality to our platform kind of as the market evolves here. Our founder, Mark Tagliani, and our team are experts at creating real-time software. Our core team has over 3 decades of experience, and we are in growth mode and are always adding to our development and support teams. We are based in Houston, Texas, and we have offices in Chicago and Brazil, and we have a global network of resellers and SI partners. Part of our original market focus was OEMs. And we have a variety of OEMs, companies that embed our software in their product offerings, and many creative kind of brand label partners. Our software is being used in a variety of applications, small and large. The logos kind of that you see are just a sampling of some of our customers. We are in a variety of vertical industries, including oil and gas, transmission, power transmission distribution, manufacturing, and transportation, just to name a few. Our primary go-to-market strategy is with systems integrators and OEMs, and also our value-added resellers. And with that, I'll hand it back to Mark and Dave for the good stuff.
Just 1 second, guys. I did just allow the chat. I can see you guys saying hello. Feel free to leave any questions on chat. We got Roberto and Philip kind of keeping an eye out to answer those, but we're also gonna have a Q&A at the end. If this goes longer than an hour and if you guys need to drop, don't worry about it. I will send the recording to everyone. So sorry about that. Just wanted to make sure everyone could send messages. So go ahead, Mark. Why don't you tell us a little bit about FrameworX?
Thank you. I will do a brief overview of the platform itself before Dave Heller talks about the product family and you go to the version 10 details. So TagSoft frameworks it's our platform intended to generate applications to any type of requirement where you have real-time data. So if you have the words real-time data and industrial is where we will fit in for sure. And the way the platform is created is with all those building blocks. But mostly important is those building blocks, they are in top of a very powerful foundation using open and standard technologies. And the keywords here are platforms and open, because the fact we create that in top of things like the .NET and some other open standards that are very well developed by the industry, make our platform very complete, easy to extend, very affordable, and mostly important, we have a very reliable foundation on top of that. So you can picture our product by those 3 layers. We have that very solid foundation, lots of out-of-the-box functionalities, and those are some examples of applications you can deliver with the platform. And the process to create those applications is quite simple. We have all the tools that you need to connect to and collect your data. When I mean all, I mean all. We are now including more than 70 communication drivers in the products. Over the few years, we create more than 200, but now only 70 are really the ones that people are using. So we have really everything built in the products on the communication stack. Then the second step to process information, we have the most advanced scripting solution platform, very powerful alarms and storing tool, and lots of built-in modules to process and store that information. And finally, on the visualization, it's when we say high performance graphics, that's not true. In fact, we should say top performance on the market, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. So in a very high level, those are the 3 steps that in general is the typical workflow when creating solutions. And when you are creating those solutions, we have one tool, a single environment to create those platforms, those solutions, that they have 3 very important features. Number 1, it's the same environment to create Windows, Linux, or whatever operating system you want to create. Second, is the same platform to all the product family. And finally, it's completely free start on version 10. So I will allow Dave Heller to explain a little bit more how we did or organize the many families in the products.
Thanks, Mark. Hi, everyone. I'm Dave Hellier, VP of Business Development here at TagSoft, and I, too, am the 30-year plus or 30-year-ish variety here at TagSoft. You can see that right here. The challenge was, with all these different technologies, how do we make them available in a way that makes sense to the market? And so we came up with these product families, okay? At the very low end, we have what we call the Edge Gateway. And the Edge Gateway is all the device connectivity, these 70+ drivers Mark was talking about. and all the database connectivity to historians, that kind of thing. But no visualization, no alarming. It's just there to connect to the data and move it somewhere. And it's got store and forward capabilities. And if you need to run your data through a set of business rules, algorithms, calculations, things like that, we have that ability built into it as well. So the edge gateway is where things can start. Sometimes when you're out at those edge locations, you may need to change a set point or acknowledge an alarm, something that would require a basic and kind of an operator level interface. So that's what the Edge HMI is for. So FX Edge HMI provides all the things that the gateway does, but it has some basic visualization capabilities, some basic alarming capabilities, a maximum of 2 simultaneous users. It's not intended to be a SCADA system. Intentionally, it's kept more narrow in focus and scope than that. So it provides really good value for an HMI platform. Now, Factory Studio, the FX Factory Studio level license is where all the tools that FrameworX is designed to or enable for you to build whatever solution you need. Everything, all the configuration tools come to you inside the FX Factory Studio. So everything the platform does is available for you there. That scales up in size, but ultimately, most of our customers like to go with the FrameworX Unlimited. That's unlimited, all the unlimited configuration tools, just like in Factory Studio, but it's unlimited also in capacity of I/O. So use however many drivers, talking to however many devices, getting however much data you want. Unlimited number of runtime clients. So you could have as many people accessing that system as you would need. And then also unlimited development engineers working simultaneously from anywhere on the planet that you've got connectivity. Frankly, even beyond, as long as you've got connectivity to that project database, everyone can be working together to create the ideal solution for the end user, for the customers. And so that's how we package the product. We license it by Edge Gateway, Edge HMI, Factory Studio, and FrameworX Unlimited.
Thank
Okay?
you, Dave.
You bet.
Perfect.
And I just want to highlight that we do have a big news with version 10. If you want to talk a little bit about that now, Mark, don't know. That is completely free, that engineering environment.
Yes. That's and there is no limitation functionality or points. It's all the features that you need to design the application are included. Okay.
Amazing.
Great. So using that, let's start to go deeper on version 10. And first, I'd like to talk about what were the concepts that we had when creating the products. I myself am also in the more than 3 decades group, but specifically with our releases, we had 12 years of experience using the first TouchSoft products. And we learned a lot during that period. And I'd like to share something very personal. We developed a nice set of very, very loyal customers. There are some people out there in the market, some integrators that just love us, okay? And they say with our words that they know all the competition and they don't judge us for nothing because in their opinion, we are the #1 in performance and flexibility, among other features. But, there is a but, they also let us know that regarding the learning curve to be able to use all the product potential and the collateral materials, the learning curve was not as smooth as it should be, okay? So we put a huge amount of effort over the past few years. The #1 is not by accident, is to elevate the user experience because the focus on the UI to allow new users to have access to all the power that was, in some cases, hidden on the engine. That was one very important goal, okay? And I'll not go item by item, but talk about prepare a solid foundation for future. That's also one thing we had in mind. So the version 10 is not just any release, it's a generational evolution of the platform that not only put us at a completely new level, but it's not the end, it's really the beginning of a new era and a new journey. Because in addition to what we're going to see now, we have lots of internal components that are there as a foundation for the next few months and years, bringing even more nice features on the platform. And instead of going too much on that, I will probably go more on the product details. But there is some one item here that will be worth to explore. We are scalable, as they pointed out from the Valo engine, have lots of new technology, but I use the perform example. When you put a new release, it's more or less expected you'll be able to run faster and more efficient. But in this case, it's really an amazing step. We did some benchmarks with some applications that we did the upgrades. And in some cases, the system was running 2 times faster, using 2 times less memory, installing in some computers literally in seconds, 10, 15 seconds, and that's not even having to do any engineering work. So, of course, the new greenfield solutions, it will be great, but also to our supporters and those loyal integrators, they are very happy to start to learn, the ones that already use the version, that they are able to evolve their solutions a lot just by upgrading the software. Good. So let's start to go on more specific details on what's new on version 10. First, we support .NET 8 and of course 9, 10, whatever Microsoft do in the future, meaning that you can create solutions that are multi-platform. So that same design tool that you will download and install for free can create solutions, and you decide if you're going to deploy to Windows, Linux, macOS, or any operating platform supported by .NET 8, that are many. And it's the exactly same application, okay? About multi-platform, I need to do open parentheses, okay? There are another typical solution in addition to .NET 8 to deploy multi-platform, that's Java. I will not use this presentation to enter discussion .NET 8 versus Java. Even I let you know that .NET 8 has for industrial applications many benefits on top of Java. But what's most important in this picture is when we say that are multi-platform, we really are. Meaning it's not that we have a system that you can run in many OSs. Okay, that's the first check. But the second one, not all products have, that this same application can run with full Windows support. So if your intention is not deploying Linux, if you are a Microsoft house in your IT that are going to put your application running a server computer in Windows, it means your application can have Active Directory integration. It can call Windows libraries and applications right away. It can really fully use the Windows environments, what a system that's based in some other kernel will not be able to do. So when I say that we are multi-platform, we have 3 bullets here. Yes, we have the framework that allows you to run in any OS. Number 2, we do all in Windows. It's possible to do in Windows. And number 3, we also have additional runtimes created specifically for some embedded devices, like Cisco routers, universal robots, and more to come in the future. Any additional comments on that, Isabella?
I just think it's interesting because we talked about how sometimes when you're choosing Windows instead of multi-platform, it feels like you're choosing less. But in this case, it's really, really not, because then you get the full power of Windows. We've put in some features to really make sure that you get the most out of the platform. If for some reason you're not interested, it doesn't fit your application to do multi-platform.
Yes, yeah. In fact, this slide says the integration with the Canary Store, you can install Canary for Windows on the same computer. Of course, that's a Windows solution. And when you do that, you have lots and lots of additional features you'll not be able to use. So you have a good point there, Isabella. Even we have one picture and here we have three. If
Exactly.
is Windows, you do much more and much better in Windows than a software that does not have that natively.
Awesome.
Perfect. Let's explore another concept that we put out with version 10, that's execution profiles, okay? I did, like many of you did on the past applications, that we had to do formal FAT, factory acceptance tests. So the typical process is you do the process, but then when you move that to install in production, probably many database connections will be to other databases. Probably many IPs of PLCs will be another IP. So the typical workflow, many products, even ourselves in the past had to do, you develop your application in your lab. To be able to the FAT, you need to modify by brute force or by scripting or by external file some connections to the FAT environments. Then you do that, all of them, to the production. When you think about, that's more against the entire concept of being reliable in FAT, because you do everything, okay, we are concluded, this is perfect. So now let's start changing all IPs. Does not really make sense when you think about. So we create something at the core of the product to be able to manage those profiles very easily. And even you don't have those security regulated area requirements, it will shorten, make easier the development time for everyone. And in fact, I'd like to give you an example on that. This product, we are doing the introduction for the market today, but we had an early release 9 months ago to some early adopters, and including integrators and a few selected end users. And we are starting to deploy this week more than 300 systems in a very critical oil and gas infrastructure. And this development was completely essential that we had these execution profiles. I myself was involved person in that solution. I remember how we're doing things 5 years ago and how much easier it was to go through that very critical application, having that feature in version 10. Great. Next one.
Yeah, that one.
Go ahead, Isabella.
No, I just feel like this is one of the most exciting ones. You kind of.
Oh, I like this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I like that much that I will do now. A very bold statement here. I would say that we are really the number one, the top in the market regarding the speeds of real-time graphics in web. Okay. So I'm making this statement publicly. So feel free to reach me out on LinkedIn if you find out this statement is no longer true. Because my last research, when you need really high performance web pages, we are really unmatched for now. And that's thanks to WebAssembly. That's thanks to doing the code behind with .NET languages. I will show that a little more in a bit. And what's nice about those high-speed web is they are creating what we call a new concept, also in version 10, using portable displays. What are a portable display? You do a drawing, you do a code behind, and this exactly same configuration You can put out to run in Windows, in web, in mobile devices. Frankly, it's nothing exactly new outside the industrial world. Many gaming companies, they used to have frameworks that were cross-platform, but we brought the same concept to the industrial arena. And very important, the exactly same drawing tools can create responsive web dashboards and can create traditional process diagrams, okay? There are many products out there. You have one drawing tool to create this type of diagram, another tool to create this web tool. And to make even worse, you have to pay a few hundreds to thousands fee for different modules. We love modules, but we hate charging them. So in our products, all modules, they are included. There is no additional for this type of drawing tool, that type of drawing tool, this alarm, it's all there included, okay? So before I keep moving, let's take a look on what that means, okay? If I pick up, for instance, this application, someone will say, oh, that's very old HMI style. And say, yes, you are right. And that's the point I want to make. This is very old. This display was created more than 10 years ago by a partner with us, based in another previous HMI he had more than 10 years ago. So the original drawing of that page was, who knows, okay, perhaps 2 decades ago. So this display that's running in Windows and originally created for Windows with no programming, nothing. We just run our upgrades tool. It's loading that same display, but on web. And you see the performance, the resolution. You only really can say which one is the web and which one is the native Windows, because here you have the browser title. So you can see this one is the one in the browser. And I want to emphasize that this display, because it was an old one, it was not created for web at all. You see here we have hundreds. No, let's say that better. We have thousands of moving parts here. So this display was created in a way to have the worst possible performance in the web. And even so, the loading time was reasonable, given it's a very, very heavy display. And the performance after it's running matches exactly what we have in Windows. So version 10 is not only about opening amazing performance on web display, it's also to allow you pick up your system, all the effort you had, and evolving that just by upgrading the products.
Awesome.
And about the portable displays, is if you go to how you do those solutions, okay? When you are in the system, that's where you develop your solutions, and you go to create a new display. You can right away select if that display wants to be portable or web or HMI only. If you keep portable, all the displays you run on both platforms. And if you had a previous display creating WPF, we can automatically migrate that page to be portable. That's what we're doing with those legacy applications that you saw running as if they were natively created for the web. And another concept that we have is some additional tools that are quite useful. Those are the top ones, but there are many that really helps a lot. For instance, if you talk about being support to have different color schemas, when you install the software, you can use the configuration tool in nice 6 color, light and dark backgrounds, okay? And you can also have that feature not only for the engineering, but also for the runtime. With literally out of the box, the way to do that. And I'm not really go on all the details now, But of course, we have a huge set of libraries and very many advanced controls to allow you to create panels, flow panels, and all kind of more advanced UI.
Including
So go ahead,
including
Isabella.
including some new components, right? Some graphical things.
Yeah, exactly. And including some new comps, for instance, like this flow panel. So if I want to do many instances of this object based on a database or based on external data source, not only we can do that very easily, showing from in any kind of panel, but you can also need to be the same one. The tool is flexible enough to populate dynamic different controls based on those external data sources. Good. Next, let's go back about the UI. I was already briefly using the UI here and there, but let's explore that in a little more detail so start to understand the products. One tool, the first tool you typically use is what you call the solution manager. The solution manager will show all the many solutions that are working on local or remote computer. The installation is very quick. You'll see if you download, especially if you use what you call this new technology called MSEX for installation. And we even have the web UI that don't need in local installation. You can point the tool to the computer and just run. But let me explore just a little bit more this other key tool, that's the designer tool. So
Awesome.
keep in mind, this tool is to manage your projects and you can run the solution, but you can also open that solution for configuration. So when you open that solution for configuration, you see how useful, by the way, is to be able to have color schemas, because I have 3 solutions open here. And because they're using different color schemas, it's very easy for me to know which one is which, okay? And what is this homepage of the design tool? You can very easily see and go to the last items you work in that solution because you have built-in change management. We can do integration with external systems, but we have that built-in. So we track automatically everything that you modify in the solution. We have lots and lots built-in tutorials to guide you on the steps, and the entire interface received many and many improvements to be able to simplify that initial learning of the platform, especially the users that know the previous one. They will get what I mean by that. Good. Let's keep moving. Unified namespaces. We had some of those comps in previous releases, but this release is the one that you fully embrace that concept that was created by Walker Reynolds a few years back. So that's his arena. I'll not try to now explain what is unified namespace. You go to his videos, he'll explain definitely in a very complete way, since he was the one that generates that sentence. But in the context of our products, in a simplified way, the unified namespace piece of our product is when you combine tags, asset folders, dynamic external data sources to put all of that in context. So we have a centralized location where you can define the local unified namespace for your solution. And some nice features that we have there is, for instance, the tag provides that can fully dynamic. Many people are used with the name tag provider in the sense you connect with a Modbus tag provider, so you run a tool that you automatically import tags based on a range of Modbus addresses and do the binding. This is not a dynamic tag provider. This is a nice importer tool where you create the tags. By dynamic tag provider, I mean we also have the ability to connect with many data sources of historian tools without creating any tags, neither mapping the data. The application and the data models will just react dynamically to the current state of that external supplier of assets. So if you add, if you remove devices in the data they are connecting, that you show right away in your application. And another advanced feature we have here is about the tag types. Many system industrial automation create from legacy concepts that we have digital, integer, Boolean, text. Some of those old tools, they don't even have date time types. We put all that and went way beyond. So we have natively JSON tags, data tables, multidimensional arrays. Our tools that we have for modeling our data are by far the most sophisticated and complete in the industry because we create in top of .NET. So we support all .NET types in real time, including data tables, and we even extended creating some native data types like JSON to better support some of the new technologies. Okay. And I think that's a good point to call for action. As Isabella pointed out, we have the chat area open. So feel free to start putting your questions there. We have someone replying as we go, and what you don't have to reply during the presentation, we'll follow up later, okay? Since I did talk about technology, let's go deep on those underlying technologies. First of all, that's not all we did for the products. We did lots of enhancements on the communication stack, on the security stack, that I'm not even planning to talk in this presentation. So I will just focus with the ones that are more easily visible. And I start with the Python integration. We always support C# and VB.NET. Now we fully support Python also, but in a very cool way. The way we support Python, it means that we have a built-in editor in the products to add the Python code. And this is more important to look because say, oh, what's the benefits? There are many editors for Python. Yes, but because we have that built-in the products, we can manage your code security. We can apply protections to define who will be able to see or not see your code. We'll be able to manage that code internally to your solution file to simplify the deployments. So that by itself, it's a big benefit. Another nice benefit, different solutions can activate different versions of Python. So we are not connected with one single version. And the one that I believe is the best, if you are using Python 3.7 up, you can fully intermix Python and .NET C# VB, meaning you can do .C# code calling very easily a Python methods right away with no special tool and vice versa. So we prepare our environment that our classes, our script classes, they can intermix easily whatever is the language that we're using. And before I go to the product to show that, a small parenthesis, I like this concept. We also introduced a concept called web data. What is that? It's becoming more and more common that you have to exchange either files or web services using JSON data or XML data structures. But it's not only the JSON file itself. We have to have the authentication methods. We have to have the for URLs. We have to define how you set up your credentials. So you need to have a nice way to build the data model, the basic, and also put around the additional things to exchange that data. So the data itself and those external settings is what you call a web data objects. And that simplifies a lot any type of application where you have that type of requirements, okay? If I go to my script tasks, I have for this task here that was created in Python. So if I go to my code editor you see here my Python codes, okay? And these Python codes can use IntelliSense to access the text on the application, can browse the variables in application. It has pretty much the similar features that we have with the .NET languages. But it's not that only. As I did mention, if you are doing SQL queries, we have now the Azure for SQL queries. If you are doing XML files, we have the editor to XML and how to put your security layer on top of that. If you are doing JSON files, similar way. And all that not only support more types, but in a very nicer environment regarding the code editor and the features around the UI to add those objects. I think that's good about technology. What's next one, Isabella?
Those ones I feel like so exciting. Some of those we did have before, some MQTT integrations, but I feel like you took it to the next level. So if you can, I think that one definitely deserves to show in the product as well. And it's going to be part of our little demo that we're going to show in a bit as well.
Yeah, because what we did before, we had the communication drives, of course. We could do OPC, we could do all those protocols. But the key concept here is the ability to explore your data much easier. Nowadays, many applications, it was not like that when I started, but now many applications, you have the data, then you do the application. When I started, it was the opposite. We never had the data beforehand. Now, in many solutions, we do have. So the idea here is that when you have that scenario, okay, you can go to Data Explorer, and in the Data Explorer tool, we have the 4 typical data sources for that kind of CSAT are MQTT, OPC, and for OPC, we have a simulator driver, we have a native OPC server in the products, PLCs, we can search control logics and codices, PLCs in the network. We can find those automatically. SQL queries, of course. And I will run an example with MQTT, but it's similar to the other data sources. So in this case, I'm going to run our built-in broker, which, by the way, is another nice feature. We can run and with any MQTT broker, of course. In the cloud, we have nice solution around HiveMQ, but any broker in the market, we can connect, of course. But we also have this built-in broker in all product line. So it's there, and it's really handy in many solutions to have that integrated. And we have also a MQTT Spark Plug B simulator that allowed me with 2 clicks to be able to create this MQTT data with some live data without having to do anything outside the system. But let's picture that this not necessarily being created with our built-in simulation tools, can be any broker. If I want to use that data in my solution, with 1 click, I can just map that data to the solution, and that's it. I'll explore more from that point on when you go back to the product demo. But that's the concept of the Data Explorer tools. Good. Oops, wrong slides. Here.
There you go.
Next, finally, it's I believe it's the last one. So
The last on the features we decided to highlight, but I like
yeah.
say again that it's by far not all that the version has.
Last but not least.
Exactly.
So I put this one for personal reasons, okay? We do have some features for critical infrastructure projects, and it's not written on their slide, but what I call real process control. What I mean by that, okay? I started my career doing a startup in the factory floor more than 3 decades ago. And if you ever did factory floor startups, especially in the past, you know that you need to have very advanced diagnostic tools. you know you need to have online, offline configuration. There are some products that are putting that in their product lines only now. That for more than 10 years, we do online, offline configuration with hot load feature. Because when you're doing really at the process control level, that's something you have to do, okay? And I'll give another example, what I mean, hard process control. If you are doing a web shopping cart, or even you have a web dashboard just to monitor the production data, it's very acceptable in those solutions if sometimes you click in the display and takes 1 second, 2 seconds to something be concluded after you request it. I have the field experience to know if you are in the factory floor in a critical process control facility and the operator clicks in the HMI and don't see an action in less than 500 milliseconds, typically 300 milliseconds is the ideal, he will start literally smashing that HMI. That's why they need to have IP protection. In some cases, it's not protect from the water. It should protect to the operator themselves, okay? Because you need to be way more responsive when you are really doing that process control on operations, not only IT. To be clear, we can do both, okay? But some of the nice features we have become from that factory floor experience. And give you some numbers. Not only will you be able to do those 5 milliseconds reply to the operator, but you have many demos, include some ones we install with the product, that you can put code behind a dynamics happen on the display in less than 50 milliseconds. Sometimes we can even have some reasonable large amount of code and graphical objects being updated in less than 50 milliseconds. That's what I call being able to go to the process control area as well. Good. Next, Isabella.
Yeah, we do have a demo that we want to show, just explore a little bit more of the platform. But we did this diagram first to kind of walk you guys through the main components of what FrameworX is. And I know you already talked about the solutions manager and the designer, but do you want to give it a quick overview before we get into the demo? And just real quick, guys, a reminder, if we go
briefly about the solution manager and designer, but I think it's really important to understand the basic components of the platform. So you can picture each one of those boxes as one software tool, okay? So that's where you see all your solutions. That's where you do your configuration. That's what is putting to run when the solution is in production, okay? And in fact, some of those boxes that can be different computers. So you can be from one computer managing solutions that are in a remote computer. Or when you have your server running on one computer, you can have application modules and diagnostic tools running in another computer connecting with your data. And you can have operator clients, either on web, on rich clients, connecting back to that server as well, okay? Those are the key components to do. And before I go to them, I just want to open small parenthesis here. There is a very typical sense that you don't know what you don't know, okay? So I forgot to mention one thing when I talk about the displays, that when I doing that little thing here that I just click and open exactly the same drawing to the web. I was doing a training on version 10 with one of those early adopters, and they created all the displays using the drawing tools in Windows, this and that. But then when we went to the question and answer section, the question had, okay, but now what I need to do to start doing the HTML5 programming? And my HTML5 is whatever. Now I want to do my pages to the web. And so, okay, you just did, okay? Because again, it was one click. So I really like to make a proposal for a nice partnership. We put lots of effort in our sites to make things easier. And I would like you now to give us that try. Even if you knew our previous versions, forget they are completely new. If you don't know yet, that's the time to download and interact with us, okay? Another nice thing that we have, as Harry pointed out, we are very quick to reply. Sometimes we do a presentation with an integrator. They say, oh, that chart would be great. I use a lot that chart, but I don't see that chart in your product. Our turnover to put those new graphical components and whatever drivers is way, way, way faster than your typical profile. Because as Harry pointed out, we have 3 decades of specialization in this arena. So, and of course, the applications, the technology are evolving, okay? It's been possible for you to have out of the box any kind of visualization that any vertical mark in the world will have. So it's very important to have a partner, and we want to be that partner that not only has a very complete and solid foundation, but when you need some additional features, they don't go back to you, yeah, perhaps in 2 months. No, it's way, way, way faster than that. That said, let's go to the demos. So let's restart the demo from where I left. That was to export with 1 click. I will select to create the dynamic tag provider connection. So this data that was browsing from those external data sources, with that 1 click now, they are included in my solution. They are part of my unified namespace. And in fact, if I go to my connections monitor, I can explore that data here now under the unified namespace. And the next step is to put that data in context. So I will create a few assets folders here, typically in a real life project that will come from an SP95 specification or any way you want to organize your data. In this case, I'm just keeping some G4 names. And we can, of course, put traditional SCADA tags. So if I want to create a tag with the metadata types you have, set up the alarm information, we can do that as usual, okay? But what I want to put now the emphasis that we can link with dynamic data that will be defined externally with no tag creation, no tag binding. So I'll pick up those seats and put in context in my data organization. And that's it. So this data that was available to the application now was put in context of the unified namespace. And I can use in alarms, storing, scripts. That's part of my unified namespace. I can combine many data sources. I will do a simple example, use that data in a display. And I'll pick up an asset tree to put here. And I'll do a display that's very simple because the idea here is not to do fancy applications. I recommend you to look our demos that we install with the product if it's more beautiful displays. But my focus here is on the process. So I will have to operate this asset tree. This data grid will present some information about the selected assets. I will drop a few boxes there to show also to interact with some data. I will go to the symbol library to search to anything that's big enough to fill this area. And finally, I will show some advanced capabilities that we have. That in addition to symbols, we also have very powerful drawing tools. And you have a very complete rich set of dynamic properties you can add to the object with no programming, like bar graphs and all kind of dynamic behavior. That's it. So now let's bind into the data, now that I know what I want to show. In these objects, the asset tree, we have a built-in property that's client context assets name. So what I'm going to do here in my text box, I'm going to show the name of the selected assets on the value. And when you do the copy paste, make sure you delete the placeholder, okay? So you do your process, you repeat that in your house, do as I do. That was a placeholder to be replaced by the assets. And here I'll put name or anything like that. This other text box will be very similar, but here I want to show the current value of the assets. And you have an easy way to do that. This is the name of the assets. If I want to show the value of the assets, we have a built-in method called assets that translates an asset path to its value, whatever type of object is the assets. And that's it. And this same value of these assets that I'm showing here, I also will show in the data grids. I also will show in the symbol. I also will show to be what's driving my level of my bar graph. And that's it. So let's put the application to run. I can go going to runtime startup, or just go to action starts. And I had a question a few weeks ago. Someone asked me why you're doing all that, putting all those things just to run a display. The answer is I'm not just running a display. Remember, we're doing offline configuration. Now, what I did on that command was not to put the display to run, but what in fact I did, I put the alarm engine, the report cell, I put a full server-side solution to run also. Of course, you're doing only display connect with the server, will not have to start all those processes that are the server-side components of the system. So here we have the display I created. And you see, as I browse here, my data grid is reacting, showing information on what I have under that node. And if I go to a specific property of the node, my other animations, they are live also. You see this name, you cannot see the name because it was too short, okay? The fact that we have offline configuration does not mean that you need to stop the things all time. If I put those two screens side by side, if I make this box bigger, okay, and I change the position, you see when I do the confirmation, it changed right away on the display. So we support both offline and online configuration for the application now. By the way, it's still not big enough, but it's okay. That's it. And that's as simple as that. Any questions so far, Isabella?
No, I think we're good. Just like to let you guys know that
Yeah, and of course, this display is very simple, okay? If you want to do things more complex, we have lots of advanced controls that can be used for that. So if you go to the viewer, we have the flow panel to populate dynamically stack panels and raw panels with multiple components from database and external sources. We have carousel controls, all kind of advanced UI to do that. And probably be nice to show the solar panel demo that has with similar concepts, but a display that someone put more than the 2 minutes I put to create the UI. For instance, when you install the software, one that I'd like you to recommend to run first is the solar panel demo that is available both to Windows and desktop applications. That's based on the location. It will show either the diagrams being dynamic created with whatever number of assets you had under that tree. and you can select to see that in the dashboard mode or to be able to see that in the geolocation mode that will react accordingly when you do navigate the UI. And we do have a very comprehensive explanation in the website on how that demo was created.
Beautiful.
Good.
Like I said, just kind of as a closing thought, this is the beginning of the new generation, hardly the end. So we're looking forward to hearing from you. We have a lot more plans. We're really excited and proud of what we did for this version. So yeah, I'd just like to thank everyone once again for being here, for taking the time, and I will follow up. Any closing thoughts, guys? If not, we can just say hi, bye, and give a good week.
Thank you, everyone, for coming to the presentation today. Looking forward to working with all of you for sure.
Thank you. Thank you so
you,
much,
guys.
everyone. Have a
Thanks.
good day.
Thanks, everyone.